Hello, Carter. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really good. And I just have been looking at your Instagram lately, and I see that you're really into hair and hair care and
Mhm.
health. And I think that's very inspirational.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, do you have like a philosophy on hair or anything like that? Like how you regard hair and hair care?
It's like I never really knew how to take care of it before. So it's only been over the last, like I'd say, 3 years. Yeah, 3 or 4 years. I've kind of like learned to really be better at it and to take a like better care of it. Because like before, I just have to shave it, but just because like no one around knew how to take care of my hair. So
Yeah. I
yeah,
think it's hard too because I think there's more information coming out on how to take care of different various types of hair. So I feel like there's more
right.
information these days. It makes it more accessible, don't you think?
Absolutely. Yeah. Back in the day, there really wasn't anything like that. And then kind of growing up in, rural New England, there wasn't any kind of, there was no resources at all. So,
Wow.
so yeah, yeah. So it's been a lot easier now, lot better, a lot easier to get a hold of those resources and to find out like how to take care of, how to take care of one's hair.
Exactly. That's so interesting that you grew up in rural New England. So is it like a dry climate? What kind of a climate is it?
I mean, it's cold.
Cold.
It's cold, very, very cold for a while, for a good part of the year. So, but yeah, I mean, the summers it would get kind of warm, but yeah, yeah, cold, like, the winters got like cold, and I mean like, frigid cold.
Oh my God.
So, yeah,
I probably
yeah,
can't relate. I'm from California.
yeah, probably, yeah,
It's
it's
102
different
degrees right
world.
now. So
Yeah,
it's very different. That's interesting though. Like, does
yeah.
it impact your hair care routine, like winter versus summer? Like, do you have to do something slightly different or
I live
anything?
in the Midwest now,
Okay.
but yeah, if I was still living back there, I would probably be taking, yeah, like with the cold weather, I'd probably be planning more accordingly. Like where I am now, it's like the winters are fairly mild compared to New England. So, but if it was New England, I'd be kind of like, kind of preparing better, preparing more for like, for like a drier hair and drier scalp,
Yeah,
because of like this, just how brutal it can get.
I can imagine. Well, it's probably hard for me to completely imagine, but it just seems very cold.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Imagine how cold it is. I'll probably think even colder than that
Oh
at
yeah.
times. Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
anyway, what else was I gonna ask? I know you're really into different like celebrities and hairstyles. Do you have like a hairstyle inspiration or anybody that you find inspirational, like for hairstyles or anything like that?
Like at one point, like I always like there was this singer from the 50s, Jerry Lee Lewis,
Yeah,
and he had like long curly hair, and I had never seen that on a male before.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so yeah, yeah. So I just thought that was cool. But I never could quite, grow it that long. And really wasn't until about like, again, like 3 or 4 years ago where I was like, okay, I want to try to grow and I want to try to grow it that long. And now it's gotten longer than that. So, you know, so that was, I think, initially my inspiration. Another one, but she's like, this is like a ways off. This is some singer, Amanda Marshall. She she's like not as well known as she should be because she's tremendously talented. She's like amazingly talented, but she's got like the same kind of ethnic background that I do. So she's got her hair is kind of like I think similar to mine. Mine got really long, so it's kind of like that's another kind of like a long term goal.
That's
Those are kind of like my inspirations. I would say,
that's
yeah,
really cool. I'm imagining your hair is pretty long because when your hair is curly, like if you, it looks like it's grown a lot
it
actually.
has.
Really
It
amazing.
it really has. It's long. It's long. I think it's about down to the mid. I think it's down the middle of my back, maybe even past that. If I were to
Wow.
stretch it out, yeah, it's long. It has grown like quite a bit. It feels like it's grown a lot just over the last few months.
That's amazing.
So
Like,
yeah,
do you
yeah.
think certain like dietary changes can help, like eating healthy? I believe in that. I think it helps with hair growth. What do you think? Like,
Oh
do
yeah. Oh yeah. Like I drink a lot of water. 2 to 3, bottles of water, a day, and I think that helps. And I exercise. I try to exercise about 3 days, 3 nights a week.
Mhm.
Um, trying to think what else. I've been eating a lot of fruit. I've been eating a lot of blueberries lately, like a lot of blueberries.
Hmm.
Because I know that's like a really healthy food, like a superfood. And so I've been definitely doing, I've been, eating a lot of those, and I think that's been helping. Another thing that I've been doing is there's this thing called chi powder. Um, and I guess what in Africa, I want to say I don't know if it's Chad or if it's Ghana. It's one of those places women use it, and they use it to grow their hair long, especially on like this this kind of hair, and it supposedly grows very very quickly.
Oh,
And yeah, and I think like I said, I've been doing this since like I want to say July. So I'm thinking too, this might be some of the results of it too, just the fact that it's starting to see, and it doesn't necessarily make the hair grow. It like makes the hair healthier and less breakage, and because of less breakage, it looks longer because it's allowed to kind of grow longer. So
yeah, exactly. You're retaining more hair. So the chia
yeah,
powder, is it like you eat it or is it like a
no, you like put it in like I do it a couple ways. Like you can mix it in like a cream.
Mhm.
So I mix it in like a cream that I have, and I put it on my hair like about like once a week. And then I also have the powder, and I also put the powder, but you don't put it like on your scalp. You put it like on your, on your ends. Like so I put it like on my ends. I put it like around here, around here, but it's not on your scalp because I guess it could definitely dry out your
Okay.
scalp.
That's
So
interesting. Wow,
yeah,
I will have to look into it. That sounds
yeah,
very educational and good resource.
yeah.
Do you use heat? Like I know some people are into different like heat styling tools. Do you do that as well, like diffuser or anything like
Yeah,
that?
I use a diffuser. I've just started doing that, I would say since like August, I think. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, I use a diffuser every morning. And I think that kind of helps out too because I think it gives it like kind of like a lot of volume and stuff.
Yeah, no, I
So
see like the volume. It's really good. Do you
yeah, thank
have
you.
like a certain brand that you recommend, like Dyson? I know some people really love Dyson. Do you use a particular brand or
Yeah,
anything?
I've heard good things about Dyson. That's one I've always heard a lot of good things about. So, um, I forget which one mine is. I think it's Dyson. I believe it's Dyson. So, but yeah, and I'm really happy with it, and it works really well. It was really easy to kind of put together, and yeah, yeah. So just and again, what about once in the morning when I'm getting ready, I use it, put on like the lowest heat, and I'll probably put it like near my hair, and then sometimes I put it like in my hair, and it just kind of to kind of get the curls to kind of like kind of poof out a little bit, so
No, I really love that. I love watching like when people do the curly hair routine and seeing how they do that. It's so cool. It's
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, so like and I've been trying something different over the last couple of weeks where I've been adding like I've been like not getting it really wet in the shower. Instead I'll kind of spritz it, and then I'll brush it out, and then I'll put what I do next. I put I don't remember what I do. There's a routine. Then I think I put mousse in it. I kind of scrunch it in, and then I diffuse it, and then I put some conditioner in it, and then I brush it again, brush it out again to kind of So by the middle of the week, it definitely gets like it gets it gets bigger. It gets bigger.
That's
So
cool. Yeah.
yeah,
No.
fuller.
So like would you with your wash routine, is it like once a week or once every 2 weeks, or do you have like a specific or every few days? Like how do
At
you
the moment, it's once a week. Like on Saturdays, I'll wash it, and then on Sundays, I deep condition it.
that's cool.
So yeah, it just makes sense on the weekend because I have more time.
Yeah, I can't I try doing the more washing more often, but for me, I once a week's pretty good. I feel like that's
Yeah,
a good place. I feel like you can overdo it sometimes, with
right,
washing, you know what I'm
right.
saying? Yeah.
Yeah, and I used to wash my hair at one point back when I really didn't know what I was doing. I would wash my hair like every day, which I thought was good, but turns out like I had like a really bad dandruff because my scalp was so dry because it was like I didn't know with curly hair like really like strips the oils really bad.
Sure, yeah.
So I didn't know that until like like, again relatively recently. So that's why I kind of like again like once a week it seems about right. I may train it to go even longer, but for now I'm gonna go once a week.
Do you have like a length goal? Like, do you want to get like a specific length, or are you just having fun with it, or like,
Well, I've always wanted long hair, always, 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 and it's like just always wanted to have an experience. I was gonna donate it. Um, and I still might down the road, but like I was going to donate in 2024.
Oh,
But
wow.
yeah. But then what ended up happening, a couple things happened. One, I talked to a stylist when I and they were mentioning like, well, if it's curly, you may want to grow it longer because then it's curlier, it's gonna, maybe be if you want that, certain length. I'm like, oh yeah, that's true. And then I the more I was kind of growing, I'm like, well, I'm enjoying this. I'm liking this. So I'm not sure if that's what I'll do. Maybe there'll be other ways I can do that. Or one of the things I'm considering just to grow it like for as long, as long as I'll go, and then cut it back a little bit, and then make it something a little bit still long, but definitely, a little bit shorter. So maybe just seeing if we can reach its terminal length, and then once it gets to that point, then maybe cut it back, but still keep it long.
No, you
So
definitely have options because I mean, I did grow my hair super long and I cut it, and you can grow again. There's so many options. It's really cool.
right, exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. But I think I'm gonna keep it long because I've been told it looks better. It looks better, and I
I
feel
really do like your long hair. It's cool.
thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. So I definitely think I'm gonna keep it that way. And again, I think I'm gonna grow it as long as it will go, and then even if it's like longer than I had kind of planned, and then cut it, then like I said, cut it back, and then but keep it still like I can't imagine anything shorter than like the middle of my back. So that's and that's curly,
Yeah,
so
no, for sure. Yeah.
yeah, so curly like the middle of my back, lower back. That's the shortest I think I would keep it. I won't keep it any shorter than that. So
Do you have any other like hair inspirations or anything like people that you follow on Instagram that you really enjoy, like their content?
trying to think, there are a few. Um, one of them, her name is, oh boy, but she doesn't post that much anymore. Coffee Curly Girl. Um, yeah, she's really good. As a matter of fact, I got a lot of ideas from her, but she's been busy lately, so she doesn't post as much as she used to. But like that's how I learned about diffusing. That's how I learned about like oiling my hair. That's how I learned about, I learned a lot. I learned a lot. I think I learned about the moosing and the scrunching and using like a t-shirt, you know, instead of like a towel. I learned those things. So I think she was definitely one that I definitely, you know, went to a lot. Um, somebody else. I'm trying to think of somebody else. I think Carly Libby's another one on Instagram who she definitely has like she's got like like a lot of really good curls, and I've definitely been kind of like I follow her too as well. So those are the two that definitely kind of like on Instagram that definitely stand out for me. So
That's very cool.
yeah,
So have you, I know you're really busy like with all your work and some teaching. Have you thought about going over to TikTok? Do you do that too, or do you just do Instagram mostly?
at the moment I'm doing Instagram, but I wouldn't be surprised if I went eventually over to TikTok. Um, yeah, I could see myself at some point. The job that I do, I work with college students, so I'm
Mhm.
kind of a little bit careful about
Yeah, well,
where
you're,
I am. Yeah,
and I understand.
and I think with something like with my page on on Instagram, I think that's okay because it's kind of controlled, and like, all I'm talking about is healthcare, health and wellness. But like, I don't want to go kind of this. I just want to make sure it's kind of like the boundaries and
I understand. I mean,
stuff
I
like
do
that.
see actually some professional people, like there are older people on TikTok. It's not just like younger people doing crazy things. There are like
Right,
people doing health, like
right.
crafting and painting, and like it can be any topic you want, really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And I may gravitate towards that. I'm
yeah,
just like I said, I just want to be kind of
more
you know
controlled. I understand that.
yeah. Like I don't know if I would like yeah. Like I would I just want to be careful when I do it. Not that it would be anything you know bad at all. It's because but I just want to make sure just because making sure that this is because working in a college environment, I just want to make sure I'm kind of you know.
But your content is always wholesome. Like you have good content. So I think
Thank
whatever
you,
you do is great. Like
thank
you
you.
are very thoughtful about it. I really like that. So
Thank you. Yeah, because I mean,
yeah.
I got some of my some of my colleagues who are my friends. they follow me. So I always also want to make sure it's kept like, wholesome and, kept a certain way. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
like that. And I feel like in the hair community, we need more of that. So
Right.
it's really wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And especially I think with guys too, I think guys can sometimes be seen in the hair community. Like there's some guys that are out there who like are not growing their hair, or they're like, but they're just like kind of creepers.
Well, yeah, I kind of had that experience where I tried to be nice to people, but then they wanted me to make content for them and then they
Right.
became abusive to me. So I just had to cut that off. It got
Yeah.
strange, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, totally. I'm sorry you went through that.
I mean, it's okay now. I just feel like anybody, it could happen to anybody in the hair community. I just say I wouldn't give content to those type of accounts that just wants
Right.
content from a lot of people. I appreciate people like you who are actually styling their hair and
Right.
showing what they could do with it. I like that,
Right.
you know.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I appreciate that. And yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Also, too, I'm trying to like, you know, I I my parents are African American, but you don't like if we go, we don't. I don't have to go that far back on our tree where we have like a lot of European
Mhm.
and some, like I think a little bit of Filipino, a little bit of Native American. So
Oh,
this is like,
that's cool.
yeah. So
Yeah,
this is like definitely like biracial. This is multiracial hair.
that's cool.
I think I kind of got that from like, from those, parts of the family. So I know there are a lot of people out there who probably are in the same situation and like don't, you know, maybe like, this product doesn't work well for them, and this product doesn't work well for them. But maybe if like, if there are other people who have that kind of hair, that kind of texture, which is kind of a little bit, different, maybe that can help them, kind of, grow it and take care of it and everything.
That is so true because I feel like, I mean, I am a little bit multi-ethnic too, and my mom has different hair than myself. So sometimes I have to do something that's different than she would do. So
Right,
it's good to know what other people are doing that might have a similar hair to yourself, it gives you
right,
ideas.
right, exactly. Like I know like my hair is definitely like, it's very like, very curly. And yeah, yeah. But it's not really wiry, it's more curly. So like, I kind of found like what I thought I would be trying to do with my hair. I found that this didn't necessarily work. I'd have to try other different things,
Hmm.
and to kind of make it to make it, to make it work. So
Do you have a favorite kind of oil? Like, do you like coconut or jojoba? Like, what's your favorite kind of hair oil that you like to use? Do you have a specific
um co- coconut oil, I used to like that, but it'll dry out your hair supposedly,
one? Hmm.
from what I've been told and from what I saw. So
Uh-huh.
I stopped using that. I've used like amla oil, alma oil.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
amla oil. Yeah. Um, and right now I'm using rosemary. But
Oh,
the only issue, yeah, yeah, rosemary I think works really well. It's very, very, very strong.
oh, it's very potent for sure. This is
Yeah, it smells really strong. So if one doesn't like that smell, you're not gonna like it because it's just potent. It's a very potent smell. But I know that seems to work really well in my hair. I tried plum oil. Um, and that seemed to work well, seemed to work well too, but that was like a little bit harder to come by.
Mhm.
I have a friend of mine who makes it. So she sent me a batch once. I bought a batch once. But it seems like, I think you can get it on Amazon too, but like, yeah, like right now I'm doing rosemary oil and that seems to be going really well. So that seems to be what I'm gonna stick with, I think.
Yeah, I actually do want to try rosemary oil. I haven't tried
Yeah.
that yet, so I'm very curious about it.
Yeah,
It
I like it. I definitely like it. Yeah, yeah, it works well, and I guess like it works almost like, like because like at one point too, I had kind of like had some thinning going on back, back there, and I think it's starting to help with that. They say it works as well as like minoxidil. I think
Oh,
some studies show the same qualities and much better for you.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
minoxidil can be very problematic. I
right.
would be very careful or caution people before using that. So it sounds like this is a good alternative, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, totally, totally. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Have any more thoughts about hair before we like kind of in our little interview, like that you wanted to share with the audience or like,
Oh,
yeah.
I just think like, I would say just like, if that's something you want to do, just, I would say just, just do it, and, don't let people tell you that you shouldn't, and you got to do what makes you happy. I think I've always been a long hair person. I've always, wanted it for, myself, but I never could do it. And I think it made me, a goal, it's always kind of like a, my own kind of little goal. And now I'm glad that that I'm doing it and growing it. And, it's been like it's almost like December will be 4 years, since I've last,
Wow, that's a long
yeah,
time. That's really awesome. I applaud you. I
thank
really
you.
do.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So it's been 4 years and, um, I'm very happy with how it's growing. And, like I said before, like I was saying before, I'm gonna keep going. I'm just gonna keep going and seeing how long it gets, and no matter what, I'm maintaining at that certain, maintain at a eventually when that time comes, but I want to see how long it gets.
I love that, and
So
I just want more people to feel like, yeah, if you want to grow your hair long, you should. It's totally doable if it's something you want to do, you know?
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. And like I said, I've always wanted it, and now I'm doing it and having fun doing it.
that's so great. Well, thank you so much for coming
Yeah,
on, and I was so excited to talk to you, and maybe
yeah.
we'll do it again in the future if you want to update us.
Yeah, that'd be great. That sounds great. I'd love that.
Thank you so much,
Cool.
Carter. You have a wonderful day.
You too. You take care.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.